Humbled Under Him presents Mr. Chopping It Up with the HuHmies.
Here we go.
So today I got a friend of mine, JR, man.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
How you been, man?
Good, man. I'm glad you actually came by.
Appreciate you having me. It's been a good time.
I don't know. We was going to talk about something, but we might change it up and just kind of
Go.
have a simple conversation, I guess.
That's
the
good.
only way you can do it.
Yeah, good. I'm always good for a good conversation.
Like the more, like when I texted you, I was like, yeah, let's talk about marriage. I was kind of wishing I would have said more things at the small group, but I had to leave, and it was on my mind. And then now when I woke up today, I'm kind of like, maybe I want to talk about, like I think we've been talking about listening to God more.
Yeah.
Where it was like, something was telling me to tell the guy something, but everybody keeps talking over me.
I know, yeah.
And I'm like,
It happens in that small group.
and I'm just like,
So
everybody's agreeing with you, and it's whatever's going on is not working, and I don't agree with what they're saying.
So for everybody listening, we
So-
have the privilege of getting together every Thursday morning at a men's prayer group, and
Yeah.
we had one of the guys in the room talking about some struggles he's dealing with in his marriage, and it seemed a little bit of a one-sided there for a minute, but I think at the same time, there's two sides to every story, and
Yeah.
I feel like it. I know him enough to know that he's definitely got some struggles, and I think that whenever you're, I think he's also the breadwinner in the family. So
Yeah.
whenever he's the breadwinner, and there's it comes down to men struggle with, whenever there's a struggle in a marriage, you always have, from a male perspective, something with a self-worth issue of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And typically the female struggles with, again, generically speaking, with some kind of security problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if what he was talking about is true, typically it sounds to me like she's really struggling with some kind of security issue
Yeah.
that hasn't been addressed. And obviously we don't know the whole story, but
Yeah.
it definitely got, everybody was kind of piling on there for a second, and we couldn't really give our point of view of what the really problem is.
Yeah, it's kind of, man, it's weird sometimes where you're in this small group and you're one of the youngest people there, and you're like, bro, I went through this same thing like 8 years ago, and if you would listen to me, I know it's gonna be hard for you to listen to somebody younger than you, thinking that because you already think you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I went through the same thing as far as when you work and you bring home all the money.
Yeah.
You think you're in charge.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
And you
unmet
get this,
expectation to come with
and it's kind of, once you realize, you know what, all you're doing is making money.
Yeah, that's all you're doing.
Can you put a price on your wife staying at home and watching the kids
Not at all.
and doing all that?
Yeah, I would argue
It's-
it's way more valuable than
Yeah,
what you're doing.
because if you want to, you can switch with her.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be a failure. when you do.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's going to be a failure when you do.
And then when you realize you can't put a price, so what she's doing is not saying it's priceless, like it's not worth anything, but the value of it is you can't compare it to it.
No, and what there's us saying that the husband makes the house and the woman makes the home. Right?
Yeah.
If you were to switch places, most of the time that home structure that the man would try to fill in would be a failure.
Yeah.
Quite quickly.
And I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, you almost got to be a coach. Like, I'm a big Titans fan,
Yeah, me too.
and Coach Vrabel, if they win, it's all the players get all the credit,
Oh yeah.
and if they lose, he should have coached better,
Oh yeah. Or he needs to
or he should
fire
have
the
trained them up.
entire offensive and defensive coordinators because they stink. And
But he don't say that
No,
in public.
yeah,
but
no,
he
yeah,
always
yeah.
gives the players the credit, and
Oh,
when
yeah.
they lose, he takes all the blame.
Yep.
Kind of like a quarterback will do that. When it's a team thing, and then sometimes you feel unappreciated, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like I don't want to talk on his situation, but from where I was getting, it was like the wife feels unappreciated, so what's gonna hurt him is to make him feel unappreciated.
Oh yeah, goes back to value and security.
You know, and it's you got two people hurting each other. Where if I think, I've been married 18 years, and it ain't easy at all. Like me and Rebecca, we had got separated, and I didn't leave. Like I'm not gonna go sleep on the couch. Like this is my bed. This side of the bed is mine.
Yep.
Like if I can claim one thing in this house that is mine, it is this side of the bed.
Yep.
If you want to be mad at me and sleep in somewhere else, but this side is mine.
Yeah.
Well, that side is hers, and she's not leaving it either. And then that's once you I'm gonna go in separate rooms, or you give in. It's
when I listen to the story, first thing I thought about. So I've been married now for 7, almost 8 years. But before that, I was previously married.
Yeah.
And I've gone through divorce and
so you had a trial run.
Twice. I had it twice.
Twice.
And both times it ended up disintegrating because of the other person in the relationship finding other people other than me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I listened to that situation yesterday, the first thing I thought about was my second marriage, and
you got a catalog of them.
Oh, no, yeah, it's like a checklist. It's like it's like you use a car. You gotta try them out before you get the right one, right?
Yeah.
So, but no, it felt like first thing I thought about, and it was awful to think. I guess so my mind went straight to, okay, is she finding solitude or security somewhere else? I hope that's not the case, but that's what I felt because that's what I went through, and it was almost like I was watching a former playbook of what I went through in the past, and it's a tough one. And I think anytime, and now I'm lucky enough to also lead a small group, a marriage small group at our church, and I first thought I always wonder if people look at me and go, oh, how can you teach or lead anything about marriage when you've had 2 failed ones? And I can also say that I can lead it because I know what not to look, not to do. I've seen it happen, and it's one of those things where I can teach from where I've learned.
Yeah,
and it makes it when I do marriage counseling or if I do divorce counseling or couples that are about to go through that scenario. I come from a place of knowledge, right? It's not just, hey, I'm going to some
self-experience.
Yeah.
It's like one thing that I can say I'm good at is keeping a marriage together.
That's good.
You know what I mean? That's one thing that I'm good. That's one thing I'm proud of. That, I mean, I tell people now, hey, if you can, because I think it was probably about year 7, year 8, and then now being 18 years. Like if you get to 10, most marriages kind of fell in between under the 10-year mark. Yeah. And if you get to 10, you can bank on I've been together for a decade. Yeah. And that sounds like a long time. Next thing you know, it's going to be 18 years like mine. And 2 more years, no matter if we get in a fight tomorrow, 2 more years, that's almost 20. That's a big milestone. How old are you? 41.
So that'd be half of your life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Be married.
And then you look at, man, I've known her. I've been with her more than I've been alive. Half of, like you said, half of my life. And I don't really know. Now I can see some people are, I don't know, some people seem like they're miserable. Like, how are them 2 together? Man, I tell people all the time, look, when this youngest one moves out, bro, I probably won't even have any friends. I don't even care about, I'd rather spend time with my wife than spend time with, go hang out with the buddies.
Oh, yeah.
Now, every once in a while, you got to go to the game. There's a fight or something going on or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You want to watch,
That's like
and she
2 or 3 times a year. Like,
and she doesn't want to go.
Right.
Like, she'll go to a Titans game, and I'm like, you didn't want to be here, but you wanted to go. And I was like, Well, I'm glad you're here, but
Yeah, I went to the a couple weeks ago. The Predators. I'm a big Predator fan.
Yeah.
Vested interest. I mean, I was one of the original season ticket holders, and they had their outdoor game. They
Yeah.
did the first time they did an outdoor game here at this Titan Stadium, believe it or not. And you know, it's one of those things where it was a bucket list item, right?
yeah,
And it was my birthday's tomorrow, and my wife got that for me from my birthday, and of course she ended up getting sick, so she couldn't go. So I went with a couple other people, and you know, it's a bucket list item to say, hey, awesome, you know, we get to go watch a hockey game in a football stadium,
yeah,
middle of the winter. Same time, you know, we're 8 or 9 rows off the field, but we're still 100 yards away from the ice because it's so small. And looking back on it, it's one of those things where, you know, we did the whole tailgating thing before, and it was so much work. And then we get there, and it was cold, and I'm starting going, man, I would love to just spend at home with my wife watching this on TV. You know what I'm saying? But it's a bucket list item, right? You got to watch it. You got to check that out. I
turned my ticket down.
Really?
So I had went to the Pekka game.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It went into overtime. Went into a shootout. It was raining. I'm tired. Man, I didn't get home till like 12:30.
Man,
and
that's late for us old guys.
So like now, I mean, literally, I've only seen my wife for 25 minutes in 4 days.
Wow.
You know, and then I've seen her a little bit after she got off work on Friday. And Saturday, I was like, I want to go to the game, but I told Maya if she can find somebody else to go, I will not be mad. She's like, so you don't want to go? And I'm like, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
You would have more fun
if
you went with your friends than your dad going.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I want to go, but I don't want to go. And then she FaceTimes me, and I'm like, can you tell your friend that I'm coming now? They got to go.
Yeah.
I think she actually played one of the games, got on the Jumbotron.
I saw her on the Jumbotron, yeah.
I mean, she got offered a job by the people that do all the games and stuff.
Wow.
And I was like, she had so much fun. And I'm just thinking, if I would have came, she probably wouldn't have had that fun.
Yeah, probably not.
I'd have been like,
well, I tell you,
JR's tailgating over here. We're going to come in late.
It was a good time, but I tell you, it was, I don't know if they had some kind of issue with the sound or something, because like we were on, if you're looking at the ice, you know, if you're looking at it on TV, we were on the back right-hand corner, kind of catty corner in the end zone, if you will, and you know, a couple rows off the field, and that whole side of the stadium, it's almost like the speakers weren't working.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so whenever, you know, Dustin Lynch came out and played, and Miranda Lambert and Dirk Bentley and all them played, they came out right in the front, which was on the opposite side of the field from us. You could hear it was playing over there really good, but man, you couldn't hear over where we were. It's like almost like, can somebody turn the speakers up? Like we over here too, you know. But anyway, again, it's like one of those things where I wrote it off the bucket list. It was fun. It was a good time. But man, I would have loved to just spend at home watching on TV.
Oh man, it looks great from home. Like I literally actually watched me and the wife actually sat down and watched the whole game. She don't know what's going on. Yeah. I'm just trying to. I don't know either, but when somebody scores, they score.
Oh yeah.
When somebody shoots and they miss, but as far as the little rules and slashing and icing and what's going on,
I have a almost 18 months old and a 4-year-old, and I'm trying to get my 4-year-old into it. And every time it turns on, she's like, "Daddy, are they playing football?" No, they're playing hockey. They're playing hockey. Hockey, man.
Yeah.
What team do you like? The one in the yellow. Always go with the one in the yellow.
Yeah.
Trying to get her to.
Yeah, I don't know where I've always been a big Titans fan. I root for the Preds. Of course, they're here.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big hockey fan.
Really? See, I met my wife at a hockey game.
Well, Maya, man, she just got all into hockey for some reason.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm a big football fan. I used to have Titans tickets back in the day, and then whenever they started stinking real bad, I got rid of them because I only have so much funds to spend, and I was like, I'm gonna spend them on the Predators because they were good at the time. And I actually met my wife. She actually sat down next to me at one of the games back when I had my tickets.
Yeah,
so they just sit right next to me, and now the rest is history.
Now, how long y'all been married now?
Almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years.
Yeah. So she's younger than me. You know, so she's after my second marriage, I grew up with her. She's like a best friend of mine. Our parents worked together. Like I'd known her my whole life. I thought like she was the one, right?
Yeah.
And then when she decided to find other guys other than me, I was really, like, it shook me at my core because I thought, man, like, if there was one that was supposed to be the one, like, that was it, right? You know, so again, we grew up together, best friends, families knew each other, the whole thing, and you know, whenever that fell apart, I was done. Like, I was literally about 2 weeks away from. At the same time that happened, my brother was killed in Afghanistan, and I was real sick and some other things. And a lot of things just hit me all at once, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sell it all off, and I'm gonna move to Florida and open a bar on the beach. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna get up every day, go sit in the bar, let some people run it. You know, watch the sun go down over the ocean. I'm just gonna I'm
sounds
done.
good.
Yeah, it sounds good. And then she, you know, my current wife, sat down next to me at a hockey game and, you know, shook me at my core. And
now, how does, you know, of course you can say third time's a charm and all that, but how does that go into, like, was you scared to get married again?
oh, I was frightened. I was scared.
It was like, not again.
Not again. Didn't want to do it. So kind of how it came down was.
Did she trap you like Rebecca trapped me?
No, she didn't trap me. It was just one of those things where it was just like in the past, in my first two marriages, like my first marriage, I shouldn't have even got married. She was a little older than me. It was one of those things where we dated for a while, and I was young and just thought that was okay. That's just the next step, right? That's the next step. We just get married, right? And not even 6 months into it, she cheated on me too, and it didn't go very well. So that was a waste. But my second marriage, like again, it was so set up. You would think if you wrote down a story, it would just the story. That's the way it should go. But it always came down to I was not really acting myself. Does that make sense? Like I was always, you know, having to act a certain way or be a certain way or do, you know, have to, you know, even though we grew up together, we were friends and everything. It's still like when we got married, it was still like we had a business together, and it was just different. It was just weird. Like I was never really truly myself. You know, I was doing things that I don't do. I just try to make her happy. And whenever I met my current wife, when we started dating, you know, I really like I took it all out in the front and said, look, this is how I live my life. Mm-hmm. If you want to be a part of it, that's great. Come on. If not, you know, I'm not searching for this. I don't want this. Yeah. And it was just so easy for me to be myself, which is kind of hard to explain, but and we just connected on everything, like how we want to run businesses and how we want to, you know, handle money and how we want to do it. It's just everything that was so not me and all my other relationships was just so easy with her. Yeah. And then finally I was like, okay, had some soul searching. Me and God had quite a few discussions. And, you know, it just came down to, like, I can't run for something that I know that, you know, I realized real fast that I can live with a lot of people, but I can't live without her. And I think that's where it came down to. When I would go travel for my business, 'cause I travel a lot for my job. And every time I was traveling, like, I just felt like there's a piece of me missing when I was on the road, you know. I never had that before. It was just weird, like, you know, and it was just different. And then when we finally got married, she's from Northwest Iowa, basically South Dakota almost. It's so far up there. They're generational farmers, the whole thing. It was when I went and met her family, like there was no, like her family's like, you know, like us talking. Like it was just so easy to hang out with them, and they were just great people. And it was just like, man, why did it take so long for me to find this? Like, why am I, you know?
She was. What did you say, Iowa?
Iowa, Northwest Iowa. Like, I mean, you can't get any farther northwest and not be in South Dakota.
Are you originally from Tennessee too?
Yeah, born and raised here.
Yeah, I always wondered, like, how did y'all even come down here? You was in Iowa, and you just ended up down here.
Well, she's down here for she worked for she went to school to be a designer, interior designer, and she was down here for an internship, and the rest is history.
Well, now that I'm saying that, I've been in Tennessee most of my life. I think my mom moved here when I was like 3 months old.
Oh, okay.
But like I was born in Michigan,
Oh, okay.
and I think Rebecca was born in Dallas.
Where'd y'all meet?
Man, at the club.
At the club. All right.
My 21st birthday.
Nice.
One little she'll say some stuff, man, that I don't know, but kind of like a one night stand. Ended up
20 years later.
getting pregnant and got married. And here we are 18 years later.
There you go. Hey.
You can always, so it'll be 18 years. Maya will turn 19. We got married the day before she turned 1.
Okay.
So, people always think it's man, y'all are so perfect. No, man, you don't even know. Like, we're getting married, and we've literally only known each other 19 months. Not maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know her last name is. I don't.
Wow.
We got kids together. We don't really know who either one of us are.
Yeah.
She's got a kid by somebody else. So we're kind of doing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm playing this. Playing step parent, and she's trying to go through this weird divorce. It's kind of like, man, what am I even doing? But it all works out. It's
Yeah.
kinda weird.
Everybody has their story, man.
Yeah. But it's kind of you meet somebody for some reason. Like, I'm like, man, I have a kid with this person. Something's there.
Yeah.
Since you bring up exes, I had an ex I was with for a couple of years. Looking back at it now, I'm so glad I don't have a kid with that person. You know what I mean?
That's
And I would have married that person.
That's the only
like,
good thing about
no.
my exes is I didn't have children with them. Or it'd have been pretty nasty.
It's kind of, I don't know. It's good.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of soul searching. Like, people, they want the perfect wife. They want the
That American
perfect looking
dream.
yeah, and it's like, not saying that there's something wrong with my wife or anything, but it's like, you know what? I'm not perfect.
Oh no.
But after 18 years, I couldn't have went through this without her. She couldn't have went through that without me.
Right.
Could have married somebody that had more money or something. Might would have. No, this is exactly how it was supposed to happen.
Oh yeah, no doubt. God works in mysterious ways.
Exactly how it was supposed to happen. Even I think we were talking about the other guy. He was the breadwinner or whatever. Well, 18 years later, wife got a good job now. I'm ready to quit my job.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you owe me time now. I want to sit home and take care of the kids while they're gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my wife, she's a couple years younger than me, and 10 years to be exact. And she's got a great job, and I'm in the process of starting something new.
Yeah.
And I've always been similar. The not the breadwinner, but I guess, lack of a better term, yeah, I guess maybe it is breadwinner. I don't know, whatever it is, that you make the most money in the household, I guess is the way to say it. And now that, I'm going to start this new gig, it's going to be straight, starting sort of small business owner and all the things that come with that.
It could be rough.
It's going to be rough for me, probably from a mental state of not being the one that brings home the most money, but also, it's going to be a fighting claw for everything that I get going forward, and she's going to have this great job, and she's going to be the breadwinner then, and it's going to be a little bit of a mind shift, but I mean, hopefully the goal is to get the small business up in a couple of years where she can then quit, so it's one step back to 2 steps forward, if that makes sense or whatever.
Yeah, so man, that's what I told her. I said, man, I wish we could both work at home, kind of.
That's not fun. Me and my wife do that. That's not fun.
But I was like, man, it's not the working. I'd rather just spend time, with her.
Yeah, I mean.
But then, too, I think one thing that's helped my marriage is I work a lot. Now she's working a lot. So when we do see each other, I'm glad to see her.
Yeah, you truly miss her. Right?
I miss her instead of, I'm so sick and tired of you.
See, I think that's one of the issues I had with my ex-wife is we owned a business together, so we were getting up every morning together, same time, going to our offices that we owned together, together all day long, doing the same thing, then coming home at the same time to our house with 2 dogs at the time. Like there's no like you can't sit down at the table at dinner and go, hey, so how was your day? Yeah. Well, I know how your day was because I was with you all day. Or, you know, or hey, what'd you do today? Oh, I know because I was with you all day. Or you know that there's a lot of people that do it and are successful. I can't. That's not. I've learned real fast that that's not something I can do.
Oh, one thing I learned too at my wife's job that she had before the new one she started, she would call me 5 o'clock and go on a total rant.
Wow.
And I'm just like, why are you yelling at me for? I ain't do it. Yeah. But then I want to realize she was venting about her day.
Just wanted you to listen.
And I might have the phone in my ear. I might have the phone laying down on speakerphone. I might have her in my pocket, not even paying no attention.
Yep.
But she wasn't yelling at me. She was just venting. And who else to trust to vent about something than your husband?
Yeah.
You know, there was a couple times I'm like, look, I'm going to do some stuff at my work. I don't want to hear about the problems at your work. You know?
Sometimes, so me and my wife, we learned that very early on that.
Yeah, it does that sometimes.
We learned that.
You broke it. No, it's good.
We had that conversation very early on. Like, if you're having a rough day at your work and you need to come home and you need to vent, tell me that. Because I'm like most men, problem solvers. Or we're just like, okay, hey, Susie did this to you today. Well, let's figure out how to fix this. You know what I'm saying? Let's make Susie.
Where's Susie live at?
Yeah, where's Susie? Exactly. So we had that conversation early on to say that, hey, if you're coming home and you just need to vent or you just need somebody to talk to, okay, that's fine. Just let me know that because I'm gonna go in the problem solving mode if I don't know that, right? So, and I think that's been a huge help for us.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't know what you're going through, and they can push you over there. I try to leave, man. So I'm an EMT, and I leave my work at work.
Yeah,
like I'm done.
Yeah, that's hard for me.
You know, and sometimes the little corporate side of it, like, you know, they're changing the rules on this. As far as doing the day-to-day, taking care of my patient, I mean, that's nothing. I just leave that at home. Sweep that under the bridge. I don't think about it again. But then some of the, you know, corporate part of it and the supervisors and managers there, it's like, man, it don't matter what I say. It ain't going to fix it.
Yeah.
So I try to just leave it, and I'll
I
deal
wish
back
I could
with
do
it when I
that.
clock in.
I get emails and phone calls at all hours of the day. So it's you know, I mean, it's not one of those things where I wish I could just shut it off. It would be a lot easier if I could.
If you want me to read this email y'all just sent, I need to clock in.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Yeah. I
you know,
I understand.
I'll read the email Monday when I go back in, and there might be something that I should have read, you know. But I'm like, look, man, I'm not getting paid to think about y'all right now. I'm not doing it.
I want that, and hopefully in this small business venture that I'm starting up, I can do that. Because right now I got an email this morning.
You got people to answer to.
This morning at 3 a.m. I got a conference call request. Like,
3 a.m.
Well, my company is global, right? So they're based out of Denmark, right? So they're 6.5, 8 hours, 7 hours ahead of us. So they'll send out emails at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey, we need to set up conference calls for this, and this, and this, or talk about this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not answering that.
Yeah,
give me about 7 hours, and you're good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing it. So it's I used to be that way. I used to answer it all the time, all hours, and I learned real fast from my wife that's not going to go good.
Yeah,
we just need to go ahead and just put this on Do Not Disturb till 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So you got 2 little ones now, right?
Yep, 17, almost 18 months, and 4 years.
4 years.
I started late.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people. Well, I started early, so my kids is grown, and it's like arguing with a grown person. It's like, hold on.
Yeah.
I will still whoop you.
Yeah, my wife wants more, and I'm like,
More.
sure, I've turned 42 tomorrow. I'm ready to.
You turn 42 tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh, I turned 41 last week.
Yeah, I know. Happy birthday. So
Did
it's
you
one
do
of those
anything
things.
exciting?
It's supposed to snow tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to do anything.
Yes. Yes. I
I'm
don't
gonna,
know how, but it said it was.
I'm going to probably lay around and do nothing.
Mm. See, that was one thing talking about being married. I don't like being celebrated.
Yeah, neither.
I try to, I hope I'm working on my birthday, just so as the day goes by, I don't want to have to deal with it.
I'm similar.
And the wife's like, "No, it's your birthday. We got to do something." I'm like, "No." But I know she wants to celebrate me having a birthday. So, okay, whatever it is you want to do for me, we can go do it. But I think part of what made our marriage work was not being selfish.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are like, mine. And it's kind of like, man, y'all must be like, I'm the older sibling.
How many siblings you got?
So I got a little brother, 6 years younger than me. We grew up in the same house, and then I got 2 younger sisters, and they're as old as my kids are.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay.
But it's like, I know, how to share, or, you're not 2 anymore, so you don't get this.
Right.
So it was kind of easy. You know what? It ain't about. Sometimes when it ain't about you.
Yeah, I'm when it comes to my wife and my kids, I'm the party planner. Like I'm that guy. But
Yeah.
for me, it's similar. I don't want anything. I want it to be just. Can we just sleep through the day and not even act like it even happened?
And so you got both girls, right?
Yeah.
You have any pets?
No, I used to have a Saint Bernard, but
So yeah.
you got a dog.
Yeah. So got the wife, 2 daughters, 2 female dogs,
Oh my!
and I'm
goodness.
just like,
You need some testosterone.
yeah.
Okay.
So my son actually he moved back, has been staying here, so I'm like, Dad, I'm so glad you're here. But then it's like,
That's
God.
a lot of estrogen.
yeah, like
That's
please
a
help
lot
me.
of estrogen, yeah.
Please help me. It's coming.
Yeah,
Just wait. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, I can already see it now. Like, man, just how you get certain times of the month, and the girls are just crazy.
Yes.
I mean,
That changes you a lot too. Though.
it does.
I mean,
Like
just
it's
having a daughter kind of made me. If I would have had boys, I'd be in jail.
yeah.
I mean, I was facing a bunch of charges when Maya was born, and if she would have been a boy, man, I'd probably be in a jail cell right now.
Yeah.
But having a daughter and actually going. One of my friends said, "What are you gonna do when your daughter brings home somebody just like you?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like,
Thanks for ruining that for me.
what? I mean, what are you talking? Like, I don't understand what you're saying."
Don't speak that.
And I was like, "Oh, so like I've been doing the things you've done to somebody else's daughter. Somebody's gonna do that to your daughter."
Yeah, don't talk that to me.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so now I have to set an example on how you should be treated.
Yeah.
So now I have to treat my wife a certain way,
Oh yeah.
even if I don't want to. I have to,
So it's funny you mentioned this, right? So a few months ago, there was a commercial right around Christmas.
Yeah.
It was an insurance commercial. I don't remember the name of the company. It doesn't matter who it is anyway. But it was talking about this father. So this father it's all about life insurance and how to prepare for college and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, so the father had this little girl. And I guess he was a single dad. I don't know. And, it starts off with him holding the little girl, and all of a sudden then she's playing in the house, running around. She's probably 6 or 7. And then she goes up to like 13, and she's doing dress up, and he's doing dress up with her. And then all of a sudden she's in high school, she's starting to drive. And then it goes into her going into college. And then she's going off to college somewhere, right? And then it finishes with her getting married and him walking down the aisle. And I'm just getting more and more pissed off as I'm watching this commercial because I'm sort of thinking, I'm not ready for any of this. And I'm going to have to do it twice. Like, and I look over at my wife. My wife's just laughing at me. She's like, "You didn't like that commercial?" She goes, "No, I hated that commercial. That commercial was horrible because all I could think about is like, I've got to go through all this with my kids, and I had to do it twice with 2 girls.
Yeah.
It scares me to death.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to your point, if they were to bring home anybody like me when I was in college, I was in a fraternity. You know, I was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you some fraternity stories that just shouldn't be talked about for another podcast or another day. And it was I was wild, and I mean wild, and to think about that, coming home with my daughter, either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'd be sitting on the front porch in my underwear with a shotgun. I mean, I'd be that guy. You know?
So I kind of came up with whoever they decide is that person. It's not my choice.
No, it's not.
They got to live with them.
Yeah.
But after they decide who that person is going to be, you got 2 options. You either mold them into the son-in-law that you want, or kind of deal with the consequences of what they are. But sometimes a man needs a little guidance.
Yeah.
Where
whoever
that boy might be, young man that might be, he might have grew up in a house with all boys. He don't know how to treat a woman the right way, or hasn't been taught.
Yeah,
has no idea.
Scare me to death is what it's gonna do.
And then this fear of that I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. yeah.
I came up with 2 little rules. Look, whatever you do, don't put your hands on them, and don't leave them anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that she might say some things to you, and you might have to call her out her name, and that I can deal with that. But as long as you don't leave her nowhere, and put your hands on her, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I can't say that y'all can't fight, because she might call you a little shrimp, and I'm gonna go sleep with your best friend, and you might have to call her out her name. I can deal with that, but as long as you don't leave her where she said that at, or put your hands on her after she said that, me and you'll be okay. But that's still my kid. I might have to ride with her regardless.
Yeah. And with the world the way it is today, I mean, I'm sitting going, man, I can't believe I'm raising girls in this craziness. But at the same time, I'm sitting going back, my mom probably said the same thing about me when I was a kid. Like, I can't believe I'm raising a kid and all this. But
yeah, I'm looking at my mom, single mom, raising 2 boys. Like, the torture I put her through.
Yeah, me too.
The torture.
Similar. My single mom, too. It's like, man. It was just me, though. My little brother, so my brother, we had the same dad, different moms.
Yeah, it's like how my little brother is.
And he ended up being really early on. His mom just moved away, so it was my dad basically being a single dad, right? So in that process, it's so many kids these days getting raised with single parents, man, and I think that scares me for my girls. It's like, because I lived that, right, and I'm trying to break that generational curse that happened in my family, so they can grow up in something strong and Christ fearing and all that kind of stuff.
That was a good factor into why I stayed married too. It's like, man, my parents are divorced. Wife's parents are divorced.
Likewise, yeah. My wife's parents not, but
my kids shouldn't have to grow up like that. I learned my lesson, but then you see people don't stay together just because you got kids either.
Yeah, no.
Because you know what, they're gonna grow up and leave.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like you see people, they get divorced. They've been married 30 years and then get divorced. Like, what was the point?
Yeah, like you made it this long. Like,
what was the point?
What are you gonna find? Because you're at that point, you're probably in your 60s, late 60s. Like, what are you gonna find in the last 10 years, 15 years of your life that you didn't have in the first 30?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense at all. And I was working with a couple that went to our church. This was 3 years ago, so he's 70 now, and they started working on 67, and she was 64, I think, 63, 64. And they've been together it was both of their second marriages, but they've been together for like 18 years. And they're talking about getting divorced. And I'm like, you're on your second marriage. You're doing this for almost 20 years now. You both have grown children that are successful.
Yeah.
They both, I mean, he's got 2 sons that are, one's a lawyer, one's a whatever, traveling the world as a missionary, and she's got 2 kids that are successful too. And, you know, they're all, like, at this point, like, you're both 70, like, almost. Like,
yeah.
Like, you're going to get divorced now? Like, what do you, why? Like, and the whole reason why they were talking about getting divorced was, like, she was mad at him because he's a personal trainer, right, at this gym down the road. And he was going to open up his own gym because he was personal trainer at a big, like, conglomerate gym company, and he was going to open his own personal training. And she was mad because he wasn't going to be home very much.
So she going to leave him.
So she going to leave. And then he was mad at her because they had, you know, they had a house and they sold it so he could have the fundage to open up this business. And, you know, he was mad at her because they're renting a house and there were still boxes everywhere. Like, they hadn't put all their stuff up. I'm sitting there thinking, like, y'all listen to y'all show? You're going to get divorced because of this? Like, after all this
you
time?
can't see him as much as you want to, and you're mad about some boxes.
Like, I mean, seriously. So, like, I had to, like, you know, break it down to him. Like, I said, you know, and then, so they decided not to get divorced. They just separated for a year. And I was working with them. They got back together. And they were going to renew their vows. And when they they were only renewing their vows just because they were going to hit their 20-year mark.
Yeah.
No other reason. Not because they had. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get your head right. Like, I mean,
that's funny. So.
Some people, I mean, it just blows my mind how much.
Yeah, you don't think sometimes how people think though.
It's.
I was telling one of my old partners from work. I think he's like 24, 25 now. And he's been with his wife since they were like 12.
Wow.
Like, first middle school dance, he asked her to the middle school dance, and they've been together ever since. Well, they just recently got married. And he's like, I think they're 25. I think they've been married maybe like 2 years. He's like, yeah, we've been together like 13 years. I'm like, no, bro. That thing started over when y'all got married. It's been 2. Nah, but we've been together. No, you can't say that no more.
Yeah. You can't say whenever your first dance you were together. Like,
yeah.
Come on now.
But, you know, they're still kids.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you could put your hat on that. They've been together since the first middle school dance. You know, they don't know. They've only been with each other. Yeah. The first kiss, you know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like, all right.
Well, there's a lot of success stories on both sides of that, right? I mean, there's some people at our church that have been married forever, and they were, you know, high school sweethearts, and they're in their 50s and they're great and the whole thing, and there's other ones that have gone, you know, like Miss Fanny and Mr. Billy, like they just celebrated 71 years. They've been together since they were both 14 and 15.
I mean, I might not even live to be
71 years of marriage, not even counting what on top of that, what they, you know. So, but then you also, like, I've got a friend that, similar story, him and his wife, they started, like, going out in middle school, whatever you want to call that, whatever, and they started dating through high school and college, and they got married, and when they both when he turned 45 and she turned 44 or whatever, they've been married for 20-plus years, and all of a sudden she wanted to get a divorce. And her reasoning was, you know, she wanted to experience. She'd only been with him. She hadn't experienced anything else. I'm like, you've been together for 25-plus years now. You counting all the high school, middle school. Like, why are you just now coming up with this idea? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did this just pop in your head all of a sudden that you want to experience something else? Like, there's more to that. There's you're putting a Band-Aid on something else. Like, come to find out, she had already experienced somebody else on the side, and he didn't know about it. And they worked through it for a couple of years, and whenever he turned 50 and she was like 47, 48, they basically renewed their vows, and they're happy, and they made it through all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, you get all sides of it. I think, it goes right back to what I said when we first started on this, is men want to be valued, and women want to find security. And if any of those walls are broken down in the security realm, that there's multiple, or if whatever reason he's not feeling valued,
yeah,
you're gonna find a breakage somewhere.
Yeah, even my relationship, maybe, I don't know, shoot, count even a couple months ago. You come home and it's like, man, I do this, and this. I'm not necessarily talking to my wife. I'm more talking to my kids. Look, I do this, and this. I'm just simply asking y'all to do the dishes.
Yeah.
I know I can't come up with this new rule and it change overnight, but just be mindful, Yeah. So I'll do the dishes and I'll come home. I'll be like, all right, who's paying for my cell phone bill this month since nobody's done their chores and I've done everybody's chores? I need y'all to throw some money in the pot.
Yeah.
Pay for my cell phone this month.
There you go.
And your own, too.
Yeah.
They just look at me and I'm like, it's just simple.
Yeah.
If you want to pay $50, $60 a month or do the dishes once or twice a week, just let me know.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm paying y'all pretty good.
You want to do.
Yeah. And sometimes
I've tried to, like my 4-year-old, we've started doing small little chores, right? So whenever we empty the dishwasher, we pull all the silverware and put it up there, and she has to empty the silverware. She calls it helping out. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. But it's really a chore, trying to get her to learn, and whenever we're changing diapers or whatever, she helps with we wrap dirty diaper up, put it in a bag, she'll take it, throw it in the trash. Mm-hmm. And she'll help when we take trash out. She puts a new bag in the trash, like small little things like that, trying to get her used to understanding that. Yeah. Like this doesn't just happen. Like you don't just come home and the dishes are done, like you said, or you don't just come home and the house is clean. Like somebody's got to do it. And
sometimes it gets to why do everything around here? Wait till when your kids say that to you.
Oh,
I did this. What? Oh, this is my parking spot. And I had to break up an altercation between the kids. Hey, look. It ain't nobody's parking spot. I allow both of y'all to park where y'all park. If not, y'all can park on the street. Because they were arguing about somebody being parked in their parking spot. And I'm just like, wow. This is what it's come down to? This is where I allow y'all to park. How about that?
Exactly.
Y'all's 2 rooms is where I allow you to sleep.
Yep.
Now, your 12-year-old sister, that's her room.
Yeah.
But y'all two, y'all can park on the street and go find somewhere else to go. But, I was sitting here laughing. I was sitting there trying to play Call of Duty, and they were sitting there arguing right over there, and I was just like, this is hilarious. It's like, I wish I had somebody I could argue with like this.
Yeah, it's funny, like my 4-year-old, sometimes whenever she gets a new toy or whatever, and my 18-month wants to come and play with it, she'll take it, she'll kind of hide it behind her. It's like, this is mine. I'm like, really? Okay, where did that come from? Mm-hmm. Like, and everything that you have, like from clothes, whatever, has been probably been passed down or whatever, and like you're just gonna do that to your sister. Like we're all sharing the same thing.
Yeah, it's hard. That part of kids want something of their own. Like they can play with anything else but this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this one is mine.
Yeah. We have obviously my oldest is 4 and she's a big Elsa fan. Yeah, Frozen, right? So she got this Elsa doll about this big. It's like a stuffed doll, And
how's the youngest one?
18, almost 18 months.
Is it walking?
Oh yeah. She's walking, trying
Does the older one ever say, "Hey, I'm helping her up"?
Yeah.
It's because she pushed her down.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we got this little Elsa doll. This doll might be the most important toy in the entire house. Like if this doll's missing, I mean, it's call the fire department. I mean, tear down the house. Like we got a firestorm, right? And you know, sometimes whenever she lays it down or whatever, the little one will go pick it up and start running around with it because she knows how much the oldest one loves this doll. And all of a sudden, she just drops what she's doing. She runs over and takes it. This is my doll. Like, well, you wasn't playing with it. Granted, it's probably the most important doll in this house, but you ain't playing with it.
All the joys.
Life and marriage life, you know.
The younger one would just go in there and grab something and just take off.
Oh, yeah.
Gone. Just because the other one's going to freak out about it. And you just got to laugh about it.
Yeah.
Or when she gets tripped and falls, it's just like, I told you.
Oh, yeah. We got on our dining room table, one side of it's a bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we had a maid or whatever, and the little one's just now learned how to get up on there.
Yeah.
She can't sit on the bench and see that, like, that's also where the oldest one colors, right? This is centralized in that room, right? Like the coloring area, whatever. So when the little one wants to color with her, she can't see sitting down. So she stands up on the bench.
Yeah.
And, you know, last night she slipped and fell off the thing and cried. I'm like, I told you you're going to fall. Like, get off the bench. Like, or sit on your rear end, you know. And pulled her off into the living room. And she starts just meltdown because she's not standing on the bench with the bigger one. And
Yeah.
all right, go back up there and fall again. Go ahead, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's what you got to do sometimes, though. Trial and error. But, I don't know, man. We got some time in here, man. We can probably wrap this one up.
Yeah, it's a good conversation.
And, man, I appreciate you coming by.
Absolutely.
If you want to come by more.
Yeah, let's do this again.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We out.